Hello everyone, this is a response to Mr. Wrestling Incorporated's Ultimate Booking Challenge. I'm going to put a link to his videos up in the right hand corner. I suggest you check him out. He is a very good talker. He's got an excellent wrestling mind and he's really entertaining. He's very personable. I enjoy his videos very much and he just comes highly recommended. His idea was to book the WWE pay-per-views from now until Wrestlemania in March. Each month we would present our wrestling pay-per-views, who we wanted to book in them, and what the results are. We were allowed to go as intricate as we wanted, and I went really intricate, so this is probably going to be a multi-part video. So the last pay-per-view was Bragging Rights on October 25th. I'm not going to tell you what the results were from that. You can look it up yourself if you're that curious. I'm picking up from the Raw the night afterwards on October 26th. John Cena opens up the show and says he's happy to still be on Raw. I haven't assigned guest hosts to this because frankly I don't care who they are, so I'm just giving them the generic name guest hosts. The guest host congratulates Cena and announces a tournament to determine a number one contender. There are going to be 4 matches tonight. Ted DiBiase versus Evan Bourne, Primo Colon versus The Miz, MVP versus Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston. But before John can say anything else, Jack Swagger's music plays. He comes down and says that now that he's on Raw, he plans on gaining the title Cena has and making it his number one priority. In fact, he's upset that he's not one of the contenders in the matches tonight. Cena says if he wants a shot tonight, he'll accommodate him. Jack starts to agree, but the host offers a counter match. To prove his worth, Jack is going to face Mark Henry next. If he can get past Mark, he'll be in a stronger position to demand a title shot down the road. The match is about 10 minutes. Unfortunately, he fails in his task to beat Mark Henry, though he does give Mark a good run for his money. In 2 of the other matches, DiBiase goes over Bourne and MVP goes over Rhodes. They're probably about 15 minutes each, and I didn't really go into much detail about them because I'm just starting my booking, so I didn't really want to bog you down with a lot of storyline going into this. Up next, DX cut a promo about Big Show screwing Raw at the Bragging Rights pay-per-view, and they challenged Jericho and Big Show to a title match at Survivor Series. After that, Carlito is in the ring with Rosa and cuts a promo about how he's had a revelation. He realizes that he's acted like a little child concerning his brother and really wants to apologize. He says that he can't take back the things that he did, but he'd like to make amends somehow. The Miz's music plays, and as he's walking down, he tells Carlito that not only will Primo never accept the apology after he beats him tonight, he'll never show his face on Raw again. As a matter of fact, Miz invites Carlito to stay at ringside and watch him dominate Primo. Now, Primo comes close to winning this match, but Miz ultimately picks up the victory, much to Carlito's dismay. He gets into the ring to offer his hand to help Primo up, but Primo declines, opting to roll out of the ring, wary of his brother. Finally, we come to the main event, Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston. I'd say this is about another 15-minute match. There's back and forth action. One man gets the upper hand and then the other one gets the upper hand. But ultimately, the crowd cheers as Kofi wins. Yay! And Randy Orton is fuming with anger at being pinned out of title contention. He is so pissed. And we close up the show with Kofi standing on one of the turnbuckles with his hands in the air and the crowd's cheering. Yay! After that comes the October 27th edition of ECW. Paul Burchill opens up the show, upset that he's had a title match at Bragging Rights that nobody saw on television. They actually had a dark match, which means it happened at the show, but they didn't show it on television. He says that he deserves better and demands a televised title match at the next pay-per-view. Christian comes out and says that life isn't always fair and that you have to roll with the punches and not whine about it like a little boy. He goes on to say that if he wants a title match, why don't they have one tonight? After that, Yoshitatsu goes over Zack Ryder in a 10-minute no-nonsense match. Then William Regal and Ezekiel Jackson go over Tyler Rex and Shelton Benjamin in a 10-minute match that sees Regal pick up the pin over Tyler. After the match, Regal says that he's coming for Christian's title. The main event is Virgil versus Christian. Christian retains the title after a hard-fought battle. Afterwards, Christian gets on the mic and says that anytime he wants another title match, just say the word, because Christian's a fighting champion. He offers Paul his hand, but after a moment, Paul just leaves. Finally, we close out the week with the October 30th edition of SmackDown, and this is a Halloween special. CM Punk opens up the show and just challenges Undertaker to a Survivor Series style elimination match at the next pay-per-view. Taker comes out, accepts, and starts to go after Punk, but he beats a hasty retreat. Jericho and Show cut a promo about DX and say that they'll never get a title shot as long as Jericho and Show are champs. The Hart Dynasty come out and say that if anyone deserves a title shot, they should, since they helped out at bragging rights. Crime Time interrupt them and say that they weren't giving a chance to shine at the pay-per-view and deserve a chance at those titles. Jericho says the winner of the match will face them at Survivor Series, the Hart Dynasty versus Crime Time. It's a close 15-minute match, but the Hart Dynasty come out on top. After that, John Morrison's music plays, but the cheers turn to boos when Dolph Ziggler comes out dressed as Morrison. The camera even slows down slow motion as he walks down the ramp. Once in the ring, he asks the crowd what they think of his Halloween costume, but they aren't pleased. He then cuts a promo saying that John's time as Intercontinental Champion is at an end, and he'll prove it if given one last chance. Morrison comes out and says that if Dolph wants a match, he'll gladly give him one tonight, but Ziggler says he deserves a win at a bigger stage than Raw and says that they'll meet at Survivor Series one last time. Morrison agrees and they face off. After that, Beth Phoenix is backstage with Michelle McCool and says she should thank Beth for picking up the pin at bragging rights. Michelle says that Beth overestimates her worth. Things escalate and Michelle lays out Beth with the title. Then afterwards, it's Michelle versus Mickey in a women's title match. Michelle narrowly retains the title, and she holds it over Mickey and says that she'll never beat her. After that, Drew McIntyre takes on Matt Hardy. This is a solid 10-minute match that sees Drew pick up the pin. Post-match, Finlay stops Drew and congratulates him on winning. Drew starts to blow him off, but Finlay says that Drew reminds him of himself as a younger Irish wrestler. Drew responds by saying the difference between him and Finlay is that he has talent, while Finlay is a washed-up old man. Finlay responds by saying that this old man could beat Drew with no problems, and they decide to settle it next week. After that, Vicky Guerrero talks Punk into choosing Eric Escobar as his first pick, and Punk says that if Eric wins tonight against R-Truth, he's in. And he does beat R-Truth, but he cheats to win. I wonder where he learned that from. Finally, we come to the main event, Undertaker and Rey Mysterio versus Kane and Batista. Now, prior to the match, Taker is talking to Rey about joining his team against Punk. But before Rey can say anything, Batista interrupts and says that Taker shouldn't bother with Rey, instead adding him to Team Taker. Rey's pissed, but Batista just laughs and says he'll prove his worth in the ring. And the final result sees Batista pick up the win over a fallen Rey, and Taker just stares Batista down.